Hi guys, expanding my horizons here. I think I only got into this hobby like a year ago, and I think when I went crawling with the gang for the first time, I noticed that guys are talking about how many rigs they have. I'm like, it's not me. And here I am less than a year later with now my third rig. So I decided to go down the 24 scale route. Really like the look of this Basecamp SCX24 biaxial. Kind of liked it, thought, good price. Got it from Paris Junction Hobbies, which I highly recommend these guys. They're really good to do business with. I've actually bought my Ascent as well from them. Good pricing, good business, good shipping. They're in Ontario, Canada. But anyway, great guys. So anyway, that's not what this is about. So as you probably have seen in my videos, I'm a little unconventional. I like to do mods, but I don't just buy what works sometimes. I'm very much into 3D printing, making things work that don't normally work, and that's really what I'm going to talk to you today, a short video. In this case, not about this, but I have to say that I kind of like this little guy, the Mias transmitter. I just bought this, fits in my hand really well, so I'm going to make this, link this up to all my rigs, but I won't talk about that today. But I have a cool transmitter. I'll link to this in my in the description. By the way, very much appreciate your support. I make small change off you clicking on the various products that I link in my description. So please, have a look over there and peruse my stuff. You don't pay any more for the commissions I make. It's again, very small, but you can kind of see cool stuff that I bought, tried and true type stuff. Anyway, the point I wanted to talk to you about is I went down the path of getting this guy, and also, I like to go with brushless motors. It's just my thing. Maybe a bit of overkill, but I like Hobbywing products. I've got Fusions in my other rigs, and I just love them. I love the slow speed crawling and the power and the braking force and all those things, right, that they have. So anyway, I decided to get a quick run Min24 3500 kV motor and the 1621 ESC package. They come in two parts, obviously. Again, not really cheap, but anyway. I also bought, and I'll show you here, let me just remove this. I also bought the Injora transmission for this guy. You can see sort of the mod I've done there. That actually did not fit with this motor. It does fit the actual chassis, and it has all the right mounting points, but it doesn't fit with this motor. And I had to do some mods, so I'm going to talk a bit about that. This is not really for faint of heart, but if you don't mind grinding a bit and obviously avoiding your warranty, which I kind of don't care about, to be honest with you, because I like to discover and share, and if people want to take on that chance themselves, then I can show you how to do it. It wasn't really that hard to do, but again, you're kind of voiding your warranties on both the transmission and the motor because you do some grinding. It's not critical stuff. Also to note is none of this is waterproof, so you're not really changing any of that risk from that standpoint of grinding away. Like, it does expose some parts, but I will pop up some pictures here as well along the side here, just to show you close-ups of the area of grinding, as well as the 3D printed part I had to make to sort of make this all fit together, because the way the motor mounts and the gear inside here mounts is the motor needed to be spaced back to also clear. You can't see it well here, but again, have a look at the picture I pop up. To let it clear the outer casing of the transmission, the motor would not, obviously fit in there. It's too tight. And I understand there are other transmission or motor mounts. I think Furatech might have one, I've heard, that you could buy, but honestly, I didn't want to spend another 40 plus bucks just to make that work. I thought, a little bit of grinding is all I needed. And this guy is the 3D printed part that I came up with, that basically is that guy right there, and it just fits right in there, and it creates that spacing for the motor, and obviously to use the screws to mount through the transmission. I used the gear, the pinion that came with the Injora transmission. It needed a bit of reaming as well to fit on the 2mm shaft of this guy. But honestly, it was really 20 minutes worth of work. Again, have a look at the picture. There's grinding involved with this. With the motor fit, everything was fine except the battery tray. I had to remove that and just grind away some of the backing of it here so that the motor would clear it. But all is good. It works well, and it's great to have this little motor in this guy. I'm not gonna drive it around and show you. You can, if you've driven Hobbywing motors with FOC, you know how they work. This thing can go super slow crawl, which is what I was after. I've just got to now figure out mounting points for everything, but I'm gonna just mount the ESC and the receiver sort of side by side. The battery still fits in the original tray, and then I'll just tighten up the cables with some zip ties. Also, a little tip for you, another chance I take for your benefit and my benefit, was I didn't want to spend, I think it was 20 bucks Canadian to get the actual matching receiver, the Muse receiver for this guy. But I understand that these guys are two Bender products, and Hot RC makes pretty much the same thing as I understand it. So I took a gamble, and for 11 bucks Canadian, got this Hot RC 4-channel receiver from AliExpress. That's also linked in there if you wanted to get it. It binds just fine with the Mios receiver. I only really cared for a few channels. I will, as you probably have a look at my other videos, I've done some crazy wacky stuff with NeoPixel LEDs on my Ascent as well as my Cabra. I'm probably gonna dive in and do some videos. Again, I don't leave well enough alone, and I like to do my own thing. So some, ESP32 with, let me hang on a second here. I just got these as well. ESP32 with some NeoPixel LED strips. I figured my normal strips aren't gonna work with this because they're still too big, but I got these guys, which are super tiny. These are addressable LEDs. You can see these, I think they're like 2.7 millimeter strips. So I'm gonna probably 3D model some, probably a light bar into this guy. I might, remodel a front end with putting some of these guys in the lights here and make them do some funky stuff like Audi signals or Audi startup lighting and whatnot. So that won't happen quickly, but I suggest subscribing, because then you get notified when I finally get into my mode and come up with something new. Probably do some tail lights as well, that I'll again model some 3D printed mounts for these guys and just kind of put them on here or put them inside and have them come through. I don't know, haven't figured it out yet. But I just came across these guys because I was looking for something really tiny that's addressable. Again, these are not your typical LEDs if you're not aware of how these things work. You need a microcontroller, you write code, and basically you address each individual pixel, and you can have them each one do different things, millions of colors each, all that fun stuff. Again, check out my playlist that I've linked here in the description. You can see some of the other work that I've done. So I'm going to kind of follow that trend with this and have some fun with this guy over the next few months as I kind of turn it into something unique, because that's what I do. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that information. By the way, probably didn't really make a close-up, but that is, that's the stock ESC and motor transmission, which I'm sure probably worked well enough. But like I said, I don't like to leave well enough alone. Do my own thing, and again, hopefully you can benefit from the risks I take and the things I break and all that fun stuff, because that's just, I enjoy doing it. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Again, please like and subscribe. I'd appreciate the subs and the likes. It helps keep me going, and it also helps me understand what you guys want to see, right? And have me go off and do and report back on. All right, thanks. Take care.